Hi, friends. Hello, the world. Welcome back to this episode of Complaint Free Life. And your host today with this very old but very new looking t shirt. I'm usually not the t shirt type of person, but this t shirt is from my partner, and he got it by collecting lots of biscuit labels. And I just find the story so nice. So that's why I'm wearing it. Don't worry, I have no affiliation with any of the logos that you can see on my t shirt, which, by the way, for podcast listeners, it's the Adidas and uh, German football team. Okay. So today's the topic that I would love to talk about is success in transitioning. And this is a topic that came up a lot, especially recently when we did a webinar with lots of humanitarians. And I can see that there is this level of curiosity and also wanting to know what is it really a successful transitioning? How do we know if it's successful and all kinds of stuff? And that's why I thought it's a high time we define it. Okay, but before we do that, though, I have a very exciting news that I would love to share with you because today, 1st of July, I am launching the Kyrgyzstan retreat. I would love to invite you guys all to my country and to have a week long retreat with me where we will be doing coaching, relaxation, and everything else, all of this together. And that will be 12th to 16 September. I'm inviting up to 10 humanitarians or who are humanitarian at heart or who are in transitioning who would love to finally get very clear on how to successfully transition within what period. And also, the great news about this retreat is that I will be adding a lifetime coaching package with this retreat. So, in other words, you will come to the retreat, make all the decisions about transitioning and how you're going to do that. And then I will be happily accompany you through your journey of getting you successfully transitioned. And that will be a lifetime access to coaching with me in a group on weekly basis. And we will be coaching on any topic that you desire. So there will be no stone unturned, as I think the English saying goes. So this is what I'm excited about, and I really also finally want to meet people in person and just have lovely dinners and lunches and just back in the old days when COVID was not a thing. So that's why I'm so excited. And oh, by the way, the other thing that I didn't mention is that I am also creating an award for those people who have successfully transitioned in their own definition of success. I will be doing an award and giving it out every year. So I'm so excited about all of this. And if you'd like to join this, please message me. I will be also announcing it in written form soon. And all of this retreat and the lifetime access of coaching will be $3,000 payable in full. And you can always reach out to me in first come, first serve. So I will not be, I will not be waiting long. I will just close the launch within the months as long as I have the up to 10 people. So that's why let me know. It will be an exciting, amazing event. And I want to be doing this type of events in the future in different parts of the world. So this is my project of traveling, combining the traveling and coaching and all of this together and meeting my amazing humanitarians. So this is what I'm starting. That's why I'm so excited about it. I will be going to Kyrgyzstan myself after my Rome and Paris trip that I'm going to do as of this Sunday. This is my vacation with my mom, who is turning 60, and we're celebrating her birthday in Rome, and then in Paris, and then in Kyrgyzstan. So, you know, Kyrgyz people tend to celebrate things very long. So this is the news. So that's why I'm excited, and I will be so excited to greet you in Kyrgyzstan in person, and will be coaching you on any topic individually or on group, whichever way you prefer. So if you're interested, please do let me know by messaging me. I trust you'll find me even by Googling my name in case. Okay, so now let's dive into the topic of success in transitioning, right? This is a topic that we often think about, and maybe even this is a topic that many people are afraid of because they believe that they may not really be successful after transitioning. So why bother even going there, right? So this is something that's very important that we all reflect on it extensively as much as possible. So the problem that I see, often the three categories of problem that I see in relation to success that I want to first outline, and then I would love to offer you a solution, and also, of course, the process of how to get that solution in place so that you can get that specific result, which is transition successfully, I'm imagining. So, and also I would love to share my definitions of how I have done it, right? What my definition of success is, and what definition of success did work and didn't work as well. I would love to share that as well with you so that you have an idea of what I'm talking about. Okay. So let's start with the first one. The problems that I see in humanitarians that I interact with and also my clients is that the first one is that we are very vague as to what we mean by success, right? If we are in the current setting where we are in the humanitarian setting, probably the urbanization that we work for has established certain level of structures for like promotion or certain statuses, certain level steps, or whatever the way that we see that there is some progression of things, and we feel like we're successful if we're going down that progression. For some of us, I'm assuming, right? So there seems to be like a clarity within the place where we work. We used to work, but then once we transition and we go to another setting, or in the process of transitioning, we may not really be clear as to what that means, and we may not really be clear as to what that success means, and therefore we tend to be vague about it. Now the problem with that vagueness is that whenever things don't go as we expect them to go, right, whenever our brains will say things like, well, it's not working, this is not how it's supposed to be, we're supposed to be a way along, we're supposed to be more successful now than we were before. If our brains start doing that, then it's important that we actually know what we mean by going a lot further along than where we are now, right? So that's why the clarity is very important, because if we're not clear as to what success we're chasing after, so to say, or worse, what success we're afraid of, rather what we're afraid of in case we're not successful. If we're not clear about these things, then as soon as our brain will say, well, it's not working, this is not how it's supposed to be, then we agree with that statement and we want to quit very quickly. You know what I'm saying? That's why being very clear on what a success means to you is very important. And you could define, obviously, success in so many different ways. You could make the success of the process that you're going through, meaning how you're growing, how you are achieving things, how you're doing things differently, right? You could define success in those terms, or you could also define success in terms of the results of, like, you have this amount of money, or you have this amount of um, job, this level of job, or you have this much freedom to do something else, or whatever it is that you could do. So the first problem you've understood, I'm assuming, and the second one that I see that also um, come up very often is the fear of replication. Right. So I think I talked about this a lot in so many different settings, but anyway, just for this sake of the podcast, I want to again come back to this because it's so relevant, is where I also hear from clients and humanitarians who are saying that if I want to transition to something else, I may not have the same level of success that I'm currently having, right? And that fear can be very valid. What we want to know here is actually, what is the level of success that we're having? Excuse me. What do we mean by it, right? Currently, like, is it, are we meaning our status that we mean the money that we're earning, we mean the organization that we're working, what part of current experience that we consider successful. So be clear about that as well. And also be clear as to how you have created that success. Because I think whenever our brains are not clear as to how we've created this success to begin with, it's very difficult to then replicate something that we believe we don't know, right? So that's why we need to be clear as to how we have created the current success that we had, and then how do we want to do the replication of it. And the great thing about that is that if we are very clear as to how we've created it and how we're going to create it, this will give us like the boost, the confidence, and also predictability, certainty that we can do the same thing, right? This is one of the things that I did it myself as well in my previous work. Before even leaving my work, I was reflecting on how I was creating all of the success that my brain considers success, right? How I was creating that, and how do I want to create it as well? Because in all of that success and everything else, the common denominator is me and my brain. And I thought, if I have this brain and if I can create this level of success by having the commitment to work on it, having the mindset to know that this is possible, that I have done it before, so I can do it again. When I have these, then I know that I can make any other thing possible as well. So that's why this is another way to solve the problem of the fear, is by giving your brain all the answers as to how you have created it, instead of this just happened, I got lucky, someone just invited me, or whatever. Get very specific as to what skills that you brought that was useful to be successful in that environment. What expertise you have been able to gain that was useful in that environment, and how you can use that to the next um, after the transitioning where you're going. And the third one, the category that I want to name here in relation to success, is that we somehow, many of us have this belief of whatever the success that we might be expecting, that after transitioning it may be happening, it may not be enough. And this ties to the previous point, but the reason why I wanted to separate it and talk about this is that I think whenever we are transitioning and in the process, or we are in after transitioning, well, I see so many of us are so stuck on this it's not enough energy of, well, it should be this way, but it's not. I should have this by now, but I don't. This is all not going well, or this is not the way that I imagined, or this is so trivial, needs to be grand, or whatever it is. And therefore, we are likely to discredit or not even recognize the small successes that we have because we are always chasing after something very big, right? Um, or like big in terms of not only the status or not only the experience, but also in terms of maybe money. So whenever we have that level of scarcity, I would say, right, this is really fascinating to me that I have found this to be true also in my clients who have achieved high levels of um, uh, career ladder in the organization, right, currently. I have, for instance, one client, she's a P4 level in the UN system, and P4 level is considered a very high level. She is successful in her career, in her family life, if considered like from outside, right? If someone was looking at her life with her husband and child and P4 level and house and all the things, probably many people would consider her very successful. Yet she keeps feeling like it's never enough, that I need to be somewhere, that I need to make it. I haven't made it yet kind of energy. So, and by energy, I mean feeling. So you can see that whenever you have that, I haven't made it yet and I need to make it and I need to make it successful, you will always keep chasing something that is not chaseable. So when I told her, what if you've already made it? What if you've already made it to the place that you wanted to arrive, right? Then she was very shocked. And this also shows that whenever we have this scarcity mindset around success, that it's never enough, I need to be there and I'm not there kind of thing, we may not even notice that we're there. How crazy is that? Okay. So I was showing you the solutions as to what you need to be doing as I was talking about the problem, right? But just to wrap up, if you're having the type of a problem with success, meaning it's being vague and you don't really know what that means, define it for yourself, what you mean by success. If you're in the area where you're fearing replicating the success that you currently have in the future when you're transitioning, now find out what are the ways that you're already creating that success now, or how you have created it already, what skills, what experience, what exactly helped you create that, and let's bring that expertise to this area, right? And the third one is the scarcity mindset around success, meaning that if you keep believing that you don't have success, you're not successful, you should be successful, you should arrive where you want to. If you believe and keep chasing that, you will probably never arrive, no matter how much money you make, how much status you have, how much of all the other things that you have, because you don't recognize all of those things. And that's why I really want you to start preparing yourself already, how you can get into the sufficiency mindset of recognizing what you already have in terms of success. Okay, this is the solution. Now, before I say this, go to the process, there is a key thing that I would love to bring your attention to it. And that key thing is, and get ready, I would love for you to reflect on, what are you making your success mean about you? Now, it's very important that I repeat it again. What are you making your success mean about you? Or the other way to look at it is, why do you need success? Or why do you need to be successful, right? Because I think this is the key question that many of us are not asking, and therefore we get into the wheel of chasing certain things. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't be chasing, but let's be clear as to what we're chasing and why, right? So, for instance, when my coach asked me this question, I was like so perplexed. And I was like, well, don't everyone want to be successful in life? What kind of question is that? But what I did realize, though, that when I reflected on this thing, what I realized is that I was making this mean that if I'm not successful, I'm not worthy. Do you know those feelings like we talk or we feel like, oh, if we're not this, we're not worthy? Like I think from the childhood onwards, I had these ideas of if I don't have a great career, I'm not worthy. If I don't have a great husband, I'm not worthy. If I don't have lots of money, I'm not worthy. If I don't have shiny houses, I'm not worthy, right? So these were like somehow along the line a programming that I got attached to, and then deprogramming that was a lot of work, but it worked. But anyway, so coming back to my question is, what are you making that mean about you if you're successful? Maybe you are making that mean that if you're successful, you will be happier. If you're successful, people will like you. If you're successful, everyone will want to talk to you or whatever it is, right? And then you can also ask the other question is, what what if you're already successful? Even if you're going through a transitioning, even if you're going through a transitioning where you're saying you are not getting with there what you want, this is not what you want, or whatever it is, what if in the midst of all of that, you ask yourself, what if you're already successful? In what ways could this be true? Right? And these could also give you some insight as to what you're really making success mean to you. Because the truth to be told, we could also just keep doing whatever we're doing without wanting to be successful. Why are we wanting that is the key here, I think. So that could also define like what are your thoughts and what are your beliefs about yourself if you're not successful, and what are your thoughts and what are you going to believe about yourself if you're successful. Right now the process is where I will link this to the process is that whatever you are believing you will believe once you are successful, start believing that now. I know it's going to be very like a mind tricky sounding statement, but let me repeat it again. So whatever you want to believe about yourself, once you're successful, start believing that now about yourself. Like that you're a good person or that you can make things happen, that you are responsible or whatever it is that you are wanting to believe about yourself. Once you're successful, you can start believing that now already. And in fact, that's actually what gets you faster to the success in transitioning, because you will have already believed whatever you want to believe at the end, you are already believing it now. Now, by this logic, when you go through the process, so you will be asking a lot of your own questions as to why do I need the success, right? What success brings to me? Like, what do I want to believe about myself if I'm successful? So these are the process questions where you will be asking these and finding out the answers. And also the other one that I said is the definition of success. Now, here is my definition of success that I have found to be very helpful and useful And I will also tell about the definition that I don't think is helpful, that you can consider for yourself. Now, I'm not saying use my definition, obviously, but you should definitely use your own. But I just want to tell you from my own experience of how it was not helpful. So the helpful definition that I have found to be true for myself is that I find my transitioning successful whenever I am feeling full freedom to be living wherever I want to, doing whatever I want to, and being with people, like being with loved ones as much as I want to. Right. So this is, I think, roughly the success of my life is, or of my transitioning, is that whenever I am acting and feeling these things of feeling that full freedom, feeling that peace, and feeling that inner calmness, and living the life I want, doing the things I love doing, and being with the people I want to be most of the time or all of the time. These are the indicators or the definitions of success for me. And also the other one that I often helps is a definition I have is I'm successful if I'm feeling abundant about everything. So not only about time, for instance, right? Feeling abundant about time, meaning I'm in charge of my time and I can do whatever I want with my time, but also feeling abundant about my finances, feeling abundant about everything else that I need for my life, and abundant in traveling, sorry. And this is my definition of success. This definition of success that didn't work for me is defining it in numbers. And whenever, for instance, I would say, like, while I'm doing a coaching practice, so I need to be like setting for myself a particular money goal and achieve it every month or every, every quarter or whatever. And then whenever I did that and I said, if I'm achieving this, then I'm successful. And if I'm not, then I'm not successful. If I did that, I had certain like weird pressures building up in my brain or whatever weird things were happening. So that's why I just didn't find that useful. And you may also want to check with yourself how you're defining your success. So for instance, in terms of finances, I was telling myself that if I can replicate my salary in after the 1 year of living on my savings, then that's a success, right? So, and I have achieved that level, and I'm already feeling like success, but I was feeling success before as well, simply because my definition of success was that I would be doing whatever I want in the places I want with the people I want. So that was already successful. So you can see that I was experiencing that level of success already as I was going through the process of transitioning. So that's why my brain didn't have much of, oh no, it's not working, or you're not successful, or whatever. So that's why it's important that you define for yourself what that success is. So you, just to wrap up the process, it's important that you ask those questions that I mentioned earlier, and also define for yourself what that success looks like, or what that means, and how do you know that you have successfully transitioned, or when do you know that you have done it, right? Or like in terms of the big projects, for instance. And also, as you are doing it, start practicing feeling successful already, feeling enough already, feeling abundant already, because these are the feelings that you can create with your own thoughts and beliefs. And as long as you don't create it now, you will always be chasing for them. There will always be something not enough. There will always be something that you will be wanting that you don't have. So that's why let's start, like as of now, practicing how it feels like to be enough, or how it feels like to have it all, or how it feels like being in charge of creating or replicating the success that you want. And start acting on them now and generating those feelings now. Because if you don't do that, as I said, that you will always be wanting to fix things and chase things. So all of this process is going to already make you feel like you are successful. And as long as you start and continue believing in the process of you transitioning, then you're likely to not burn yourself out, or not be too frustrated or disappointed or wanting to give up, but rather continue working on it, and continue working on it in a way that's useful to you, so that you know how you're getting your results, how you're transitioning to the place that you want to. And also important, you recognize once you have all in place, right? Instead of feeling like I need to go to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. And of course, there will always be that desire to grow to the next thing, but let's do that out of sufficiency and out of abundance, rather than out of needing it and desperation of I have to have it in order to feel good about myself, right? Okay. I feel like I have given you a lot today, and I hope that you will re-listen if necessary, take it in, reflect all of those things. And if the one thing you can reflect in all of this is that question that I said you could reflect on, which is, what are you making your success mean about you, or what will you believe about yourself to be true if you're successful, right? And start believing whatever that belief is, start believing it now, so that you make your success inevitable, because you will have believed in advance what you believe later. So, in other words, we don't need the results to come in order to believe we're already those things about ourselves, because results don't really prove that. Results can be just a side effect of what we already believe. Okay, my dears, thank you so much. Have a great weekend, and I will be speaking to you next Friday. Bye.